welcome back to Creative E Studio. My name is Jada,
And my name is Emily.
and we're so glad to have you back today. Today's topic is theatrical design. I'm so excited to hear about this because I've never actually really been into theatrical design, so I'm excited to learn more and kind of see this part of theater. But I know Emily has been a part of this before. Can you share?
Yeah, a little bit. I've been able to do some set and lighting design for my own work, but I would love to hear more about it from people with more experience, and I can't wait. So thank you all so much for tuning in. And today our first interview is going to be with Michelle Zhang.
Hey everyone, I'm Monty here, and today we have Michelle Zeng, a senior at Chula Vista High and a drama major at the Chula Vista branch of the School of Creative and Performing Arts. Michelle has tons of experience regarding the technical sides of theater, so I'm excited to see what we're going to be learning today. How are you doing, Michelle?
I'm doing great. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you. Good as ever.
Amazing.
So I have a couple questions for you. First off, how long have you been in theater?
All right, so I've been in theater technically since middle school, so that's like the seventh grade, but I have performed prior to that. I did a show or two in elementary school, and then I kind of moved to kind of the musical side of performing arts. But I did get back into theater in middle school upon entrance of Chula Vista Middle because they offered the SEPA program. So I decided to do drama there, and I acted in shows, did scenes at the school, took both of the drama classes, and worked my way up that kind of thing. Um, and then upon entering high school, that's kind of when I started doing technical theater. The middle school doesn't really offer technical theater courses, and it's only at the high school. And in my district, which is the Sweetwater Union High School District, only two schools out of, I think, like 12 offer technical theater, and that happens to be Chula Vista and San Isidro. So thankfully, I was able to go to Chula Vista. So since freshman year, and I'm currently a senior. I've been in both technical theater courses and drama courses. Right now, I'm in production drama, which is our kind of ensemble class, which is also like the highest level of drama that you can go to. It's the audition only class. And then at the in the technical theater side, I am the tech club president, and I also started like kind of co-founded it in my sophomore year, and I've just let the upperclassmen handle like the presidency stuff. So I've kind of been in the cabinet, but just like not president. And then this year I am president, although unfortunately we can't do much since COVID. So yeah, for that class, I'm also in the highest level, which is just 5-6. And yeah, we run shows. I still act and perform at the high school. But I want to say I mostly do like the technical stuff, the backstage stuff. Um, and I kind of shy away from acting sometimes. I usually like gravitate towards behind the scenes.
Yeah, I totally feel that. There's something, even though it's a little more stressful, running technical sides, it's a little less stressful because you don't have to worry like, oh, my outfit today, or not just my outfit today, but like, do I look okay? Like, do I look sickly even? Like, am I okay to go on stage?
Yeah.
So there is that added relief. So knowing that you are an actor and you started off as an actor and you got into technical theater, what aspects of technical theater entice you?
Um, that's such a hard question, but such like a basic question to answer. I don't know. I feel like it's just the energy of like not having the audience just have all that pressure, like not the audience pressure on you, where you're like on the stage and you're performing and you have to make things right. And like you have to pretend that everything's okay, even when sometimes it's not. I really like the aspect of like you have room to fail, but it's also like the backbone of what's happening on stage, Without, this is a little biased, but without backstage, you can't really have everything that's going on stage. Um, so yeah, I guess that's the part that kind of entices me. And it's like because I'm backstage and because I've had on-stage experience, you kind of know how to work things better. And it's kind of the like yin yang, like, the evenness. Um, so yeah, I guess that's kind of the part that brings me. And then I've just fallen in love with like running shows, working on lights and sound, just making things look as good as they can be. And then um throughout high school, I've been stage managing. So I assistant stage managed for my first few years. And then during junior and senior year, I was stage managing shows. I don't know, it's just really fun being like the connecting point between all of the groups, whether it be like the orchestra and like the production team and the actors and the techies. So it's just like a little bit of everything. And I just love being kind of like at the center and like being able to connect with everyone.
Kind of like the conductor of a production almost. Do you enjoy that?
I wouldn't necessarily call myself a conductor or like a director, but just the energy of being able to communicate with everyone and not feeling the separation, I guess you can say. Because there's a lot of separation when you're like just an actor or just a technician, you know? You're kind of limited to your specific group during a show, especially because you have to be there to make things run smoothly. So I don't know, just being in stage management and being like in the production team, you kind of get to talk to everyone and you get to have those interactions. So I think that's the part that really like draws me in.
Mm. I have to disagree with you. I think that there's no bias involved when you say that the things can't happen on stage without the things backstage. I
Hmm.
think that I'm just joking with you,
Oh.
but I think it's such an elemental aspect. You're totally right. The things cannot happen on stage. The actors, how are you supposed to perform if you ain't got no light? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's that crucial. You know what I mean? So thinking about that, also being an actor, as I've mentioned before, and as you've mentioned, what are some things that you've learned from the technical side of theater that you can apply to when you sometimes partake in acting again?
I feel like being in both technical theater and, regular theater on stage, I feel like you, as an actor, you kind of learn how to present yourself better on stage, if that makes sense. Because when you're in technical theater, you're kind of making sure that things look right. You have to get things like on the spot, perfectly in line, because, light, sound, uh, tape on the floor, all that kind of stuff. So I feel like as an actor, you definitely get a better sense of what's going on around you and how you can kind of like be a part of making things easier, if that makes sense. For example, like there's a scene change going on behind you, and if you don't know what's going on around you, you're either gonna get trampled, you're gonna trip somebody, or everything's gonna look chaotic. It's gonna be a disaster and the audience is going to see it, but when you have experience on both sides, you kind of know like, oh yeah, like this is a priority, or like, oh, me moving is a priority, that kind of stuff. You just get a little bit more like stage sense.
I definitely agree. You kind of add a little bit of a spidey sense to your
Yeah.
actor senses in terms of the stage, and I like that. Lights, tape on the floor, action instead of lights, camera, action. I think I'm
Yeah.
gonna change it to that from now on. Um, so, what is a skill that every theatrical designer must possess? We've been talking about you in terms of being crew or sort of managing a production, sort of, but I understand that you also partake in theatrical design. So, before you answer this question, could you talk just a little bit about what your experience is regarding theatrical design? As far as,
Definitely.
yeah.
So like I said before, I didn't really experience technical theater until freshman year. But ever since freshman year, I've been very, very involved with my school's technical design program. So I have, constructed sets, design sets at times. I've definitely designed like my own scenes and kind of built that together, which obviously entails props, costumes, sometimes set pieces, but unfortunately in Zoom, often not. Um, yeah, I actually took the Old Globe like summer uh, technical theater program. I don't know the exact name. I feel so bad for not remembering it. But that program over the summer, which really went in depth on set design, on costuming and props, and that is all stuff that I've done at school just to help out with the shows. I think I've done approximately 2 shows every year since going into high school, and then summer ones in between. So that's about 10-ish. Um, and in most of those shows, I've done the technical theater aspects. So, pulling costumes together, looking for props, um, building sets and making sets come to life, whether it be someone else's vision or whether it be mine. So yeah, that's kind of like my background and something that I definitely think a technical designer or technical director needs. While this is cliche, is definitely creativity. Um, but I also think you really need confidence to kind of pull that kind of stuff off, if that makes sense. So yeah, you need creativity to come up with the vision, come up with something to actually put on the stage. But if you don't have the confidence to pull it off, if you're not confident in what you're creating, it's not gonna come off the same, you know? It's like when you're not confident, it's like, oh yeah, like I think I want this and I think this will look great. And then everyone's kind of hesitant because you're not confident in yourself. But once that confidence hits, it's like, bam, this is what I'm presenting to you, you know? So yeah.
I love that. Have confidence in your creation. Boom. That's the quote of this interview. We're done. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I'm not actually not kidding. That was great, Michelle. I really appreciate all that insight. I actually have one more question for you though. Now that you've kind of given us a little bit of a final tip, what's one thing you would say to someone that wants to get into theatrical design that is just a little bit younger than you, right? And they're thinking, hey, I want to get into this. What do you say to them?
I would say do it. Jump into it. Don't look back. You're gonna love it. If you love being on stage, but you're kind of scared to be on stage sometimes, you're gonna absolutely love technical theater. Everyone at my school that has gone through the drama program, whether it be from middle school or whether they're a first year in drama and they're thinking about, continuing their journey, they're always very hesitant on doing technical theater. But once they do, once they start it, it's like, oh man, like I can never look back, you know? It's just such a different energy, but it's such a nice energy to be around that it's I guess undescribable. You can't really like reverse your decision. Everyone that has taken technical theater and has participated in it has always been like, "Oh man, like I love doing this stuff. It's so fun, you know?" And I would just say if you're thinking about it, just do it. If you don't like it, you don't have to continue, but you probably will want to continue because it's an amazing thing to do.
Right on. Well, you heard her. Get into it. Have confidence, and you can't go back. So make sure you love it, which you probably will. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Michelle. I
Of
really
course, thank you
appreciate
so
it.
much for having me.
Of course. Of course. All right, you guys. Peace.
Thank you, Imani and Michelle. That was really interesting.
Yes, I love that interview. Next, we have Katrina interviewing Joe Powell.
Thank you so much. So as always, I'm Katrina, and today I'm going to be interviewing theatrical designer and director Joe Powell. Joe, tell me a little bit about yourself and your experience as a technical director and designer.
Great. I started off wanting to be an actor in a high school and college, but quickly in college found a love in the scene shop and loved everything about it. And so in college, I got to design and build and be a technical director and figure out how we were building everything. And that's really the where that started. And then from there, I've gone on, did a little design in New York City, and then I've gotten to work with some great big companies as a technical director and work with a lot of amazing designers over the years.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. And I mean, I know I definitely found my love for theater in high school too. So thank you, high school, I guess. So why did you go into theatrical design and directing?
I found that it was a great, I found that I loved collaboration. So I loved being an artist. I loved working with my hands. I loved math. But when I found theater, it was such a collaborative art form. I got to work with a lot of other people, build off of their ideas. They could help get me out of trouble. I could help get them out of trouble. And it was really this sense of community around theater that I fell in love with. So
Yeah, definitely. I love the theater community. So, what is your favorite piece of art that you've ever worked on?
I'd have to be honest and say getting to be the in charge of the scenery department at the Public Theater when we did Hamilton was quite a monumental experience for me. So getting to work with David Corns, who designed that set, and see all the amazing things that happened when we first put it up off Broadway before it went to Broadway was an amazing process and an amazing experience for me.
Oh my goodness. I didn't even know that. That's so cool. Oh my goodness. So, I mean, I know as like beyond just the world of tech, I know people face a lot of obstacles in their careers. So what was the biggest one that you faced and how did you get through that? Or if you're still going through it.
I mean, my obstacle is, especially as a technical director, is always money and time. You know, I really have to work with the designers to try to figure out how we can get their idea done with the limited resources of money and time that we have. So that's something I'm always fighting with. As a young designer in New York City, the obstacle was always trying to get your name out there, get more people to know you, really the burnout that comes with doing tons of small little things to try to get your name out there. Yeah. So that was always hard, but you know, once you develop more and more connections and get that community going, it's really that community support that helps. So.
Yeah, definitely. This is kind of a out of the blue question, but so you mentioned like you worked in New York. You've obviously done some work in San Diego. Which do you prefer? Do you prefer like the big city vibe or San Diego?
Well, I moved to San Diego to join the Old Globe as their technical director three and a half years ago. And I've fallen in love with San Diego. San Diego is awesome, but I spent many years of my life in New York City. There's part of me that will always be a New York City boy. But starting a family, I have 2 kids, and San Diego's been an awesome place to watch them grow. So I love the vibe out here.
Yeah. My parents, they lived in New York for a little bit and they also did LA, but then when they decided to have me, they moved to San Diego and they also love the theater community. Yeah. So also I realized we didn't really establish what a technical director / designer does. So can you go into that a little bit?
Oh, I can, certainly. So, you know, a designer is going to be the one that comes up with the setting, the environment that the actors are going to play in and that all the other designers are going to work off of. So they're really integral in the process early on with the director to figure out the whole setting. And then a technical director is working hand in hand with the designer to say, you've got this crazy idea, let's figure out how you're going to make it work. And so it's really helpful for a technical director to have a little bit of a design mentality and be able to work with designer to figure that out and say, yes, we can levitate that table in midair and figure out how to do it, you know.
Yeah, so I mean, you said it a little bit. Would you say that your experience in technical design helps you as a technical director?
Oh, definitely. You know, I know lots of designers that started off as technical directors or designers that move into other fields of design. So, you know, the more you know, the more well-rounded you can be, the better you're going to succeed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is kind of out of my own curiosity, but what's the craziest thing that you've done in a technical show that was kind of like the designer's crazy idea that actually came to life?
Oh gosh, again at the Public Theater, we had a show where we had to have the living room sink into a pool of water and all the furniture fall into a pool of water. So we had this floor that had to break up and we had to put automation in water and make it all crack and then fall, and then everything was in a big puddle of water. That was probably the craziest thing that I've done.
That is amazing. That's awesome. I can't even fathom doing something like that. So, like as a final thing, any advice that you have for people who want to go into theatrical design or directing?
So theatrical design or technical direction, I feel like start a notebook, always doodle, keep your ideas flowing, you know, and be a sponge. Just really everything that I absorb in my day-to-day life helps me in my career. So just learn. And I know, you know, people that have gone to school for many years to do it and people that have just jumped in and done it and been successful. So either path is fine as long as you just keep learning.
Mm-hmm. And I know for our youth interviewee who went before us, they were a member of the theater design studio at the Old Globe. Can you speak on that experience a little bit?
Sure. Yeah, this last summer we developed a theater design studio, which was great, which is kind of a crash course in design. And we have a week for scenery design, a week for prop design, a week for costume design. We're doing that again this summer. We've also got a little mini spring break version. But it's a great way to learn from professionals in the field, some information and tips and tricks of design and how we make it all happen.
Yeah, definitely. And I believe that applications are still open. So if you are interested in applying for that this summer, please apply. It is an amazing program. So, I mean, thank you so much, Joe, for your time and knowledge. And yeah, thank you guys. And
thank you. This was amazing.
Yeah. See ya.
Wow, that was an amazing interview. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you both.
So now for today's activity, think of your favorite show. It could be any show. Mine probably would be Les Mis. And Emily, what was yours? Be Phantom?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And then go and look up the set designer, the lighting, any like backstage handlers. And what do you find? You can type it in the chat, and I would love to learn more about your favorite shows and who's in the background of those. Who's doing the light? Who's doing the set?
Yeah, hopefully today's interviews have inspired you to learn more about the creative teams on your favorite shows.
Yes, definitely, because they are so important. The shows would not be shows without them.
Thank you all so much for tuning in this week, and we hope to see you here same time next week.
Yes, see you next week.